Welcome to Embracing Life Again. I'm Kaufer, transition expert and minister. Together, we'll break through life's toughest barriers, rediscover joy, and start dreaming again. It's time to embrace life fully with purpose, passion, and hope. Welcome to Embracing Life Again. I'm Kaufer, your host, and I bring inspiration for every life's transition. And I help you get unstuck from trauma and loss so you can learn to feel joy and dream again. So today's episode, I will be going to the barn again with Amanda Judge. And she's my trainer, and she's going to help me with my PTSD with horses. I should say big horses. My mini, Zebby, he's okay. I'm fine with him. So my PTSD, just to tell you my story, started when I got a new horse back in 2020 after my dream horse died before the pandemic. And then I got a new horse, and his name was, well, I won't tell you his name because I resold him. So he was a great horse. However, he had ulcers that I knew about, right? And we were fixing them. So I knew he was a little off his rocker with regards to him being upset a lot. So he'd be unmanageable sometimes. And I walked him into the arena, the indoor arena. And he had this thing, when he got scared, he'd bolt. And what bolting means is they just take off. They don't check in with you, nothing. They're just, boom, gone. And I had realized this with him a couple times, and I'm like, what the heck? And I did not know, the person that sold him to me did not say, oh yeah, that's one of his things he does, because I would never have bought him. Not really knowing this was a thing he did all the time. I'm walking him into the arena. I close the arena, and they're stacking hay on the other side of the arena, but he couldn't see it because it was a wall between the arena and then where they have the hay. So there's this big bang. It scared him. He goes around to me, comes around, kicks up at what scares him, and my head's in the way. So that being said, I hear this swoosh, and I'm like, did he just kick me? But I'm fully coherent, didn't think I moved at all, but I know I had to with the blunt force trauma that just had happened to me. So I have this, I don't know if you can see it, this beautiful scar in my head right there. And so I all of a sudden start gushing bleeding. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh my, what the heck am I supposed to do? Nobody's around. And so I go back out. So I finally collect him, meaning get him and take him by his lead rope, and I'm screaming for someone to help me. And finally, John comes up. I'm like, John, my horse just kicked me in the head. I need you to tie him up for me, and I need to call someone to come and get me and take me to the hospital. I'm still coherent. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I'm still like here. And so I didn't think it was a really big deal. And so then there's someone there that comes to me, and she's an RN. And she goes, oh, honey, you need to go to ER and they need to do an MRI and you're gonna need stitches inside and out. I'm like, no, it's good. I'm okay. I'm okay. Lo and behold, I go to the ER and he goes, do you understand how critical this could have been? He goes, if it was just over here, just a little bit more, you have been killed instantly. This is how traumatic you just did to your brain. So I had my MRI. He put 12 stitches inside my head, 12 stitches outside my head. I said, please, pretend. So I really didn't want a scar. I said, pretend I'm your wife and you're a plastic surgeon and you make it really, really tight and just make sure I don't have a scar. And then the next morning, oh my goodness, here comes the full-on concussion. The bed is spinning. I'm like, ah. So I ended up selling my horse back to the trainer that I had bought him from. And ever since then, I get extremely shaky around any horse that's even acting funny, right? I've always been fine with Zebby because I know Zebby and I know how he is. But with any big horse now, really hard for me to be calm. And with horses, you have to be calm because they can read your heart. They can read your mind. They know when you're like, oh, she's not okay. So do I need to be scared of something? So they'll look around. So my energy will affect their energy. So let's go on site with Amanda, and she has her horse Fiona, who I will introduce to you. And she's a gentle giant. So she'll probably be really easy for me. I probably won't be triggered by her. But let's go and see. So I'm here with Amanda doing my PTSD training for a big horse. And this is Miss Fiona, her horse, and Amanda, who you've seen before. So she's my trainer with Zebby, and she trains lots of horses. And so she's gonna teach me how to reduce my anxiety when I'm by a big horse, and especially if they're moving around or they pull me or whatever. That's when I feel the most stress. Riding the horse doesn't necessarily stress me. It was because the way Pete came around me and kicked me that I like, you know, if a horse does anything. So take it away. So what do you want me to do with her?
So I think when you have the opportunity to work with a new horse, just getting to know all their buttons, as many buttons as you can, so that you can address it in a safe environment. And then when it gets to somewhere where you feel like you might be unsafe or they might react bigger, you have a better understanding of their response. So the reason we chose Fiona, even though she's one of the biggest horses here, is because she's super calm and very responsive. So hopefully, despite her size, she can help you feel safe.
A gentle giant, as they would say.
I'm posing for the camera.
So if I were next to her and she would go like to that horse that's walking, right? Mm-hmm. That would trigger me. Because I'm afraid she's going to bolt and run from me, right? So, I mean, I'm fine with her right here.
Right, yeah.
So, what do you want? I mean, what do you want me to do?
Well, I think I'll go through some of the things I do when I'm not sure about a horse, or a horse feels like they're pulling or not gonna, I'm not gonna get enough respect from them to feel safe.
If I'm on the other side of her right now, that freaks me out.
This reaction.
Because I don't know what she's gonna do.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Because I don't know her.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah.
Anyway.
So her specifically, she is not highly reactive. The things that she does get concerned about are loud noises that she doesn't know where the source came from. If she sees it and it's loud, she's fine.
Okay.
But if the wind's banging, all that, then she's gonna react. So in instances like that, where she looks up right away and looks like she's on high alert, if I feel like I'm safe, I'll let her look. And so she can kind of grasp the situation, and she's smart enough to process that, but not all of them are.
Okay. So when she does something like that, and I'm right here, how do I calm myself?
So I use my body language. So if she's looking at something, I'll see if I can pinpoint it, and I'll let her look as long as it's a reasonable thing to look at.
Okay, her head is half my size.
She's a big girl. So if I want to keep a horse from coming into me, I think of myself as a brick wall. And she can see me best when I'm in the position you are now.
Right.
So I angle myself between her neck and her shoulder. I have this 45 degrees, so if she does go forward, I can quickly get out of the way. So I'm out of the way of her butt, and I can, if she really starts to freak out, I can turn her so her hind end goes away from me.
Hi. You're too easy.
I know.
She's too
It's all right. When you lead her, I'll start banging stuff around.
Oh boy. Oh, okay.
So in order to do that and know how your horse is going to react if you try to make that correction or want to be in a safe place, you kind of have to know, do they respect you in this type of space? Now, is she going to come into my bubble? Because I don't want her to. She's way bigger than I am. So I need to trust that she's confident enough to be away from me and know what to do if she comes into my space. So she's really good. We've worked with Zebby on this a few times, but trying to get her.
Back it up,
out.
girl.
There you go. Now we remember. Yeah, so get her comfortable doing that. Now she's licking and chewing, so she's okay with what just happened. Good girl. And then so I don't want her to think I'm mad at her. I don't want to be like, get out of my herd. So I have a very relaxed position. And this is more inviting, and so she's very relaxed. But if I was really uptight and bracing myself, then she would start to think, what is there to be scared of?
Right.
So I have to be very aware of my own body. And as humans, we're really bad at it because we're so vocal and so expressive in our body. And she can have a whole conversation with a wrinkle of her nose. So we got to make sure we're not shouting at them unless we have to shout at them. And like I said, it just takes a little bit, relaxed position, and it's inviting to her. I do this, and she stops right away.
Still checking with you, though.
She is.
Yeah.
So you called me in, and then you said no. I understand. So a lot of these activities are based on the Pirelli method. And I'm not a Pirelli trained person, but I like some of the theories that we can go through. It keeps it organized. So one of the first one is the yo-yo game, which we just did. You have your safe space, because especially you're in a small stall with a very large animal and they're crowding you, you want them to get out of your space without you having to get into their space. You are forgetting how to back up. Yeah, so now I would feel better about being in a small space with her. And the other main thing is seeing how responsive she is to moving her body around you. I'm just going to bring her out a little bit here. So I want to know if I need that hind end to get away from me, that the hind end will get away from me. Or if the front end needs to get away, I need to know that. So I've trained her with a little pressure. There we go. Good girl. Yeah, she can move that hind end, and this is good girl. This is a key thing I like a lot of my horses to do. Because I want them to respect my space and know if I ask her to move, that she knows how to do that. And it's also a good stretch. For her, she has a tight SI, so that crossover is a nice stretch for her. So she and I do that one quite a bit.
Yep.
We've worked on this with Zebby, but much smaller.
I'm not afraid of him.
Right. But she also knows the crossover in the front. So I want to know that if she's in my space and she's trying to crowd me, if I can do this and get her head and shoulders away from me, I know this one's not as fun. Good girl. There you go. Yeah, that it's not going to take as much. You know, it's not going to be a whole conversation when you're scared.
Right.
See, now she's licking and chewing. Huh. You're a good girl. So I figured I'd kind of walk her around and you can see how she is with me. And granted, I'm mom,
Yeah.
so it's a little different. And she and I have more intuition together.
Yeah.
But
she sees a horse over there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, but because she trusts me, no, she's not. She doesn't care at all.
Right. Yeah. No, need she will.
Maybe. But more if she feels like she has to protect herself because boss lady can't protect her, then that's what it comes down to. If I can prove that I'm a 10-foot tall bear and I can scare away every single dinosaur or scary predator out there, then she doesn't need to look for scary things. She can trust that I'll protect her. So, yeah, I'll just walk her around a little bit. And she tends to fall behind a little. And she gets lazy and I feel like I have to take her for a drag and not for a walk.
Yeah.
But I don't like that position because I can't see her. If she did jump at something, I wouldn't know where she is. And more importantly, I don't want her way in front of me because I'm by the danger zone. So when I lead a horse, I always try to have, be able to at least see their nose without their shoulder getting past me. So I have all this space for her to work with me. Okay. So yeah, I try to keep her up where and then I can also, she should be tuned into me enough that I shouldn't have to pull on the rope, shouldn't have to use my voice a lot. And again, I get back to that brick wall. She can't, however much I am, you know, a fifth of her size or whatever, but I'm a brick wall she can't pass through. So when she's standing here, she can see me best here, I can see her best here. So every time I stop, I try to keep my eyeballs on her. Now, since she's so big, the other piece of control is with Zebby, he sees you moving. You want to go that way, you go that way and you have a horse with you. If I want her to go that way, she can't see me doing this with my hands. So I keep my cues visible. So she can see my hand and she'll turn her head without me even touching it. Huh. Yeah. Well done. I'm just making sure my communication is really clear in what I want. So you can see that she's really soft and responsive. She's really tuned into her person. But she's a horse, and there's times that she gets reactive. But with her, I've I've never felt unsafe. She's even like big scary thing. She's tried to run forward, and as soon as she hits this rope, she stops because she respects me that much. So I've built that relationship. So yeah, do you feel comfortable walking with her, or do you want to?
I think so.
Okay, yeah. And you can even
out real quick.
even before you go, if you want to work on some of that stretching, crossover, just feel like you're in control of a 1,400-pound animal.
You're only 1,400 pounds?
There you go, yeah. Now she understands what you want, and she's respecting that you have the thumbs, so you get the space.
Or this way. Will she go this way with me or no?
She'll try to escape it because it's
Like
kind of hard in the front. There you go. Yeah. And you just stay clear in your communication. Even if you're not sure, fake it till you make it.
I'm not really sure what I'm doing.
So put your rope hand by her nose and that right hand by her shoulder. Yeah, so she can see that hand and she knows to move the full part of her body. Yeah, push your nose too. There you go. Yeah. There you go. She's not quick to react, but she does react. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So remember to keep that right hand kind of by her nose where she can see you. Yeah. And then she's going to feel more confident because that communication is a little more obvious.
I'm still a little hesitant.
Yeah. We wouldn't be doing this if you weren't.
So, how do I?
So ask her to stop. You stop and you can wiggle the rope and then stand at that 45-degree angle between her neck and her shoulder. Yeah, where she can see you best, but face her. You're that brick wall she can't pass.
Right here?
Even closer to her shoulder. Yeah. Exactly. So your body, your energy, and your position are saying you cannot pass. Yeah, so practice that a couple times. Just whoa, face her,
She's
do
not
some turns.
going
face
anywhere.
her. Huh?
If she was going somewhere. But she's not going anywhere.
But it's good practice. Yeah. And then you just look at what's going on and fake it till you make it. She's going to look to you and see if you can protect her, if she needs to be the protector. Or if she needs to run away because nobody can protect her. But luckily, she's a very trusting horse, and she likes ear rubs.
Your lip is falling down.
Yeah, so getting comfortable feeling like you control the go, control the stop, control the turns is going to go a long way toward getting past that anxiety because it is all about control. The feeling, the instant you feel out of control next to a big animal is when it escalates because they're going to feed off of you. They're so sensitive. They're going to wonder, why is this boss so nervous and so scared? And so they're going to start not paying attention and trying to see the danger. Yeah, so if you feel like you can control all 4 feet, forward, backward, sideways, you're going to feel more in control.
Okay. So the horse that hurt me bolted, right?
Yeah.
I know she doesn't bolt, but even when I go and take horses from there to their stall, if they're even like jumpy,
Yeah.
I'm like, and so I don't know how to calm myself. So
And that's a tricky one because they're excited to get back to their stall and their food.
and it triggers me,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, and I know my energy is feeding off of theirs, so then they get even more pushy or feel out of control.
Right.
So I'm not really sure how to navigate through that.
Yeah. I think for this specific process, since we can control these elements, we'll do it in here because she does get alert. It's hard to see everything going on behind the trees.
What are you looking at?
So this is a tricky area. Horses their brains don't work the same way ours do. We look through a tree and we see a person, we know there's a full person. There's not a floating, head out there.
Yeah.
She's not always sure. She'll see glimpses of something and it could very well be a floating head. So they have to check, they'll turn their head, they'll lift their head to try to get all the angles and put the puzzle pieces together.
I have to bother them to see if they'll.
Well, and it's good because that's also how you get to know them. She's giving kind of more apathetic face because heaven forbid she had to be in turnout all day. So she's not as perky as she normally is, but she is fully focused on you. And now she's licking and chewing. You are uncertain, but you're starting to relax even if you don't realize you are.
I don't feel like I'm more relaxed now than I was. I mean,
you're faking it very well.
It's her, so.
Yep, and that's why this is a good opportunity. When you feel safe with her, then we move the process to a more unfamiliar or less controlled area, like just walking down the driveway where she's wondering where her friends are, or in the wind, all these things that we can't control. We can control this. So just walk around, and I want you to just change it up, do some stops. As soon as your heart starts pounding, just stop, take a deep breath, because they can also hear your heartbeat from 4 feet away.
Right.
And so if your heart is racing and you're acting anxious, then she's going to get distracted.
What am I need to be anxious about?
Yeah, but if you can slow down, even if your heart is still pounding, but you take a couple deep breaths, you'll notice she'll do it too. She'll drop her head, her eye will soften. She might even take some big breaths with you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
Just kind of a reset, and that's totally okay. It doesn't have to be a huge activity. You walk from here to there, you feel safe. That's a success, right?
Anyway. Go forward, then.
Yep, just like a car. Get the momentum and then make the turn. There you go.
Now, it's the pushy horses that scare me more,
Yeah.
right? That they don't know their boundary, and then they have no.
Yep. And that is a fair thing to be anxious about.
Right.
I've been riding for 35 years, and when they get too anxious that they're not recognizing that I'm there, and I'm finding that they're a big animal, that is something that instinctually we should be anxious about. It's all about knowing what to do when that happens and keeping yourself safe.
Okay. Go, buddy.
Yeah, and as you're walking, even do one of those tight turns. So stop, make her cross that hind end over. Yeah. So in the scenario you were put into, it was because he went forward and you were in the.
No, so something spooked him over here,
Mm-hmm.
and he bolted that way. So I was walking, and he goes this way,
Mm-hmm.
and comes back around me, and then kicks up at what was spooking him, and my head was in the way. So that's what happened, but I had no control of that.
Right.
Because I knew when he bolted, I needed to let go of the rope, because otherwise he'd drag me, right?
Right.
So I already knew that. But it
happens quickly.
I didn't know that I would be a target.
Yeah. Well, and if you can get a horse that responds well to the stopping, checking in with you first, then you can do certain things like if she starts to bolt past, I can pull her head in towards me, so she has to swing her butt around, and you break that momentum of them taking off. And if you're out there and your horse is anxious, what I do with a few of my horses, like if they want to, pull her head towards you, make the butt go away from you, that's exactly it. Good girl.
Whoa, see, that scared her.
I think she wasn't paying attention. She saw your hand go by her eye.
Where is it going?
And this isn't something that I often do with her, but horses that if I'm out in a unsafe or a different environment where I feel like we might be unsafe, and they start prancing or pulling.
That's where it would scare me.
Yeah. Then I try to think of, okay, I can't change their mind, right? These little toothpick arms aren't going to fully stop it. You have to twist it a little bit. You have to change the setup. So if she wants to run, she has to do it with my guidance. So I'll let her run, but she has to run backwards.
How do you run?
So I do that with a few horses. If we're just walking on the trail and they're getting silly, I turn them around to face me. Then we just back up for a while until I can see they come back to themselves, and we try it again. She does it again, turn them back, we back up for a while, so she can go forward, or she can move quickly, but she can't move quickly behind me or next to me. I can see what's going on, I can watch her face. So sometimes you give them exactly what they want and they don't want it anymore.
How much time are we at, Phyllis?
24:40.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
I feel like I did most of the talking. We didn't do a lot of the work, but if you're okay with that, then
Well, so far she's like,
yeah.
shouldn't scare me. So how
Right.
can I do the work?
But there are still instances, even with a very safe horse, on a calm day, you know enough about her to know she is a responsive, kind horse. But there were instances that she got your heart rate up, even that little bit, just looking around.
Yeah.
So I think this is, even though we didn't do a lot, I mostly just yammered at you. I feel like those were experiences that you had a positive outcome after it. So you can think about, she was a big girl and she got a little startled. Instead, you can be like, she looked at something, but I was still safe.
Okay.
So it's still a success.
Let me see if I can put her back in her stall.
Yeah.
Okay. You ready? Go.
Yeah, and at gates, make her stop. If she doesn't stop in time, she has to back up a couple steps because I don't want to be stuck between an immovable fence and a large one. So what I would do with your lead rope is make sure it's not looped around your hand. Hold it so that if you need to let go of it, you have that option without your hand getting stuck. Same thing at this door. Make her slow down, stop. You go in first. Exactly. Bring horses into turnout or a small space. I turn them around. Yes. So I can block the entrance and I'm in a place to escape.
Patty. Not time to eat yet.
She's starving, Kathy.
She is very starved.
So thin and malnourished.
Okay, well, that was successful.
Yeah. I felt good about that. I didn't.
Yeah. No, I'm okay.
You
So
did
that was a
awesome.
positive experience, that helps,
Mhm.
right? For the next time, if there is an incident, so I can go,
Yeah.
okay,
And it takes some of the pressure off of you too. It doesn't have to be big to be successful.
right.
So
That's
you
good.
did awesome.
Well, thank you so much for all your help.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anytime. I love it.
Yeah. Okay. So see us next Wednesday. Looking forward to seeing you. Bye-bye. You've taken the first step to embracing life again. Let's continue to break barriers, find joy, and dream without limits. Join us next time and let's discover inspiration through every transition together.